I had always believed my thoughts were safely locked behind my lips. That belief shattered on a quiet Thursday afternoon, right there in the office pantry. Between the humming fridge and the stale smell of instant coffee, she was standing by the counter, stirring sugar into her mug. Sunlight from the narrow window cutting clean lines across the room. We were coworkers, nothing more. Friendly, polite, predictable. The kind of familiarity that never crossed boundaries, or so I thought. My brain, however, chose betrayal. She leaned slightly forward to grab a spoon, and the ridiculous, uninvited thought appeared in my head. Harmless, stupid, gone in a second. Except it was not gone, because I said it. Out loud, not loudly, not proudly, just enough, a soft, careless murmur that should never have escaped my mouth. The spoon stopped clinking. Time slowed in a way only panic understands. My heartbeat slammed against my ribs as my brain screamed at my tongue for its treason. I stared at the floor, already preparing my apology, my resignation, my disappearance from civilized society. She turned around. I expected anger, embarrassment, at best, awkward silence. What I saw instead was curiosity. Her eyebrow lifted slightly, not in offense, but in consideration, as if she were evaluating a strange comment in a meeting. She took a sip of her coffee, eyes never leaving mine. "That's an interesting thing to say," she said calmly. My mouth opened, closed, opened again. Words failed me completely. I didn't mean, I began, then stopped, because there was no version of that sentence that ended well. She smiled, not a small smile, not a polite one, something sharper, something confident. "You know," she continued, placing the mug down carefully, "most people think things like that. The difference is they pretend they don't." I looked up, finally meeting her eyes. There was no accusation there. No discomfort, just control. "I should apologize," I said weakly. "Maybe," she replied, stepping a little closer, lowering her voice. "But before you do, I want to understand something." My pulse jumped. "Do you often say exactly what you think?" she asked. "Or was today special?" The question hung in the air, heavier than the words I had accidentally spoken. "I usually have better filters," I admitted. She laughed softly, a sound that didn't belong in a quiet office pantry. "That's a shame," she said. "Filters make life boring." Then she picked up her mug, walked past me, and paused at the door. "Oh," she added without turning back, "next time you think something, decide carefully whether you're brave enough to own it." And just like that, she left me standing there, heart racing, reality tilted, knowing one terrible mistake had just opened a door I had never meant to touch. I did not sleep that night. Her words replayed in my head again and again, not the accidental comment, but what followed. The calm in her voice. The way she walked away like she had just tipped the balance of something invisible. The next day at work, I avoided the pantry completely. I avoided her floor. I avoided mirrors because they reminded me I was still the same person who had let a thought escape and change everything. But avoidance is a fragile plan. By noon, an email appeared in my inbox. Subject: quick chat? It was from her. No emojis, no explanation. Just those two words. I stared at the screen for a full minute before replying yes. She chose the conference room. Glass walls. Neutral ground, safe, or so I hoped. When I walked in, she was already there, seated comfortably, hands folded, completely at ease. She gestured to the chair across from her. "You look nervous," she said. "I feel nervous," I replied honestly. She nodded, as if that was the correct answer. "I thought about yesterday," she began. "A lot." My stomach tightened. "And?" I asked. "And I realized something," she said, leaning back. "Your mistake wasn't the thought. It was assuming I'd be fragile about it. That caught me off guard." "I didn't assume anything," I said. I panicked. She smiled slightly. "Exactly." She leaned forward now, voice steady. "You were terrified of how I would react. Not because you disrespected me, but because you gave me power over the situation." I frowned. "Power?" "Yes," she said simply. "Most people think attraction is embarrassing. I don't. I think dishonesty is." The room felt smaller. "I won't pretend what you said didn't surprise me," she continued. "But what surprised me more was how fast you took responsibility for it." "You didn't joke." You didn't deny it? You froze. I swallowed. That's not usually impressive. It is to me, she said. Silence stretched between us, not awkward, just loaded. I need to set a boundary, she added. We work together. That matters. I understand, I said quickly. She raised a finger. But boundaries aren't punishments. They're clarity. She stood, walked toward the glass wall, then turned back. What happens next? She said. Depends on whether you can be honest without being careless. I met her gaze. I can try. She considered that for a moment, then nodded. Good, she said. Because I don't forget moments like that. I reframed them. She reached for the door, then paused, just like yesterday. Oh, she added, for what it's worth. Belief-shattering moments usually are. Then she left me alone in the conference room, not embarrassed, not ashamed, but aware. One sentence had slipped out. Her response had changed how I understood courage, attraction, and the dangerous honesty of saying exactly what you think. And I knew this story was far from over.